and welcome to today's debate on has the global spread of yoga had more positive impact on world cultures or has it led to the loss of its original cultural significance? Let me welcome the debaters of the day, Team A and Team B. Team A consists of 4 members. They are Lakshmi S. Namya, Devika Rajiv, Devdatji and Anchita Anil Kumar. And Team B consists of 4 members each. 4 members and they are Rakshan Rajiv, Chedas M. Das, Lakshmi Varnagopal, Srinivedya Vinod Kumar.
I'm Devika Rajiv. So in my opinion, I disagree with Chetas because globalization has created a positive impact more than and negative impact is basically negligible because researchers have found many health benefits and spiritual aspects as well as mental health has been improved in many of the people around the globe and it creates unity among the people. When we increase the number of people doing yoga, we can create more healthy people in our society. And disease and stress-free life can be obtained and attained. We can create purity in thoughts. And of course, it can create oneness among us. And by practicing yoga, one can realize oneself and create and can introspect his own thoughts. And it can create acceptance in the mind of people. Basically, people, when seeing some other's success, they won't accept it. They feel jealous of others. But by practicing yoga, it can create acceptance in the mind of people. It can create happiness. It can create peace. And also, global spread of yoga can create mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially well-being people. So by practicing yoga and by global spread of yoga, we can create emotionally, socially well-being people. So I think more positive impact is there than negative impact. Negative impact is basically negligible because that it is being commercial. When commercialization is there. In olden time also, people teaching yoga they got Guru Dakshina. In olden books it was there, cultural books like Mahabharata. Now over people coming to India used to read Mahabharata, Ramayana, where Guru Drona is teaching Kauravas and Pandavas these pranayamas and all. So I think globalization has increased the knowledge and has spread the cultural aspects of India across the globe.
Hari Om. I actually disagree with Devika as globalization of yoga led to the loss of the traditional discipline as yoga is the heart of consciousness and it has been the central to the Indian civilization from the earliest times. Over the last century and a half, yoga has become a global phenomenon. In the process, lines of tension has been emerged over what is the actual authentic practice and what has been transformed to become digestible by a Western audience. As yoga was born out of the thought processes of thousands of years, Indians believed in the cycle of birth and death and in the principle of rebirth. They were motivated to practice yoga in order to attain moksha. In the pre-Vedic period, many statues in Yoga Mudra was found in the excavation of Harappa, which reveals that yoga was practiced during the times of Indus Valley civilization, which was 3,000 years back. In the Vedic period, in Rig Veda, the use of the word yunjay suggests the idea of yoga for control over senses. In the epic period, Ramayana and Mahabharata are important source of information about the yogic practices of that era. Bhagavad Gita emphasized on Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Lord Sri Krishna narrated yoga to Arjuna in Mahabharata. Skill in actions or efficiency alone is yoga. But nowadays, yoga is considered just as an exercise and people adopt it in the way they like. Yoga is actually not something which is done every morning or on the mat. Real yoga actually happens off the mat. The reality is that the yoga which the world engages today is something which is different from the historical or original practices of yoga. Originally, yoga was a body of knowledge, but today it is a knowledge of body. However, the entire yogic process of self-refinement and community care has been popularly reduced to merely physical practice is not fair. Thank you.
I'm Devika Rajit. So, in my opinion, I disagree with Chetas because globalization has created a positive impact more than and then negative impact is basically negligible because researchers have found many health benefits and spiritual aspects as well as mental health has been improved in many of the people around the globe, and it creates unity among the people. When we increase the number of people doing yoga, we can create more healthy people in our society, and disease and stress-free life can be obtained and attained. We can create purity in thoughts, and of course, it can create oneness among us, and by practicing yoga, one can realize oneself and create and can introspect its own thoughts, and it can create acceptance in the mind of people. Basically, people when seeing some other's success, they won't accept it. They feel jealous of others. But by practicing yoga, it can create acceptance in the mind of people. It can create happiness. It can create peace, and also global spread of yoga can create mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially well-being people. So by practicing yoga and by global spread of yoga, we can create mentally, physically, emotionally, socially well-being people. So I think more positive impact is there than negative impact. Negative impact is basically negligible because that it is being commercial, like commercialization is there. In olden time also, people teaching yoga, they got Guru Dakshina. In olden books it was there, cultural books like Mahabharata. Now poor people coming to India used to read Mahabharata, Ramayana, where Guru Drona is teaching Kauravas and Pandavas these pranayamas and all. So I think globalization has increased the knowledge and has spread the cultural aspects of India across the globe.
I am Anjita. So, as Srinivedya said, I just disagree with it. Yoga it is not a thing that we do on a mat. It's a spiritual practice. Also, yoga is a thing that gives us the mind peace, mentally, spiritually, it gives us calmness, peace. And nowadays, the world is behind the drive to become more rich. The people are running behind the power, the money, etc. So that is giving them a stressful life, which is very harmful to them. Also, the practicing of yoga has scientifically proven that practicing of yoga gives us mental peace, and also it makes us physically, mentally, and socially well-being. Also, in America, one psychologist did one case, that is, he took 10% of the American population, that is over 30 million people, and the rich by the rest of the world standard exists on antidepressants and anxiety drugs. So the 10% of people who are suffering with this antidepressants and anti-drugs, also in that country the usage of sleeping drugs has increased to 56 million. So the people started asking what we have to do. So the main thing that suggested for them was yoga. Yoga is not only an exercise but also a spiritual practice which they can't get it in a church or a mosque. That is also some of the practices which we did in earlier days has been changed now. So like that, yoga has also been changing by nowadays, which is not a loss of culture but it is preserving the culture. You said that we did pranayama. We are also doing now, which was already there in the olden days, but we also do pranayama, which is a good exercise for our lungs. And also, we also do some other asanas, which is also good for our other organs. So, basically, yoga is not losing the culture, it is practiced to with the origin culture.
Okay, my next question is to Lakshmi. How can you say that it doesn't matter if the religions, yes, yoga was a practice in ancient Hindu religions. How can you say that it's losing that, but that's good as well? Because losing something from its culture means that it's actually losing its culture. And you said it not being restricted to just Hinduism beliefs has helped the world. But that's what loss of culture means. So could you explain that point more?
Actually, we talked about the preservation of the culture and not the loss of the culture. That's the main point that I have to contradict your statement, Lakshmi.
Okay, Lakshmi, you said that it's preserving the culture. But what you don't realize is, they have actually simplified and made the yoga more simpler. That was not what our yoga actually was. There was way more asanas, way more pranayamas. But they took like only half of what it is and simplified it and digested into the Western culture. That is not what yoga. As I mentioned previously with my ship of thesis theory, is it still the same yoga? We are changing the culture. Following the culture of India to the Western people is good. It is good. I am not saying it's bad. But they are not following the roots of its culture. They are taking it and using it on their own. Now I will give one more example. Kerala's own martial arts thing, coloring. That was during the British time. It was taken by these British people. They were taken to Japan, China and all that, and they taught us martial arts, karate. But these are, what they did is, they took a small part of that and took it to the culture. The same thing is going on with yoga. There are so much things in yoga, they took a half of it and took it to the West. So it's not yoga anymore, it's a different practice actually. It is not called yoga anymore. And one prime example is that West people don't call yoga as yoga. Like many people don't call it. They call it as a fitness thing, which is my point. Thank you.
So one remarkable aspect of yoga is its ability to adapt to diverse cultures with having no principle in it. So I think it has importance in physical and mental importance in health in nowadays. And also it has created cultural it has created information about culture of India and global people. So I don't think the culture of India is lost. You are saying that culture is lost, culture is not preserved. I say culture is preserved by practicing yoga. If you are not practicing and stopping that, culture is not preserved, the tradition is not preserved. If somebody is not teaching their children not to bath in the morning, you can bath any time. So the child will not bath in the morning, right? So ancestors, what the ancestors have taught us, we are continuously practicing it. Along with that, we are spreading it to others for the well-being of others, for the well-being of the world. So I think that's good for the nation and for the health of the people also, for developing good and healthy citizens, right? So there's no point of talking about lost culture. We are saving and preserving the culture by practicing I disagree with Rakshan because he said globalization has caused damage to its culture because globalization itself is increased in spreading of its culture. The culture hasn't gone anywhere. Itself, we are promoting our culture to other countries. So that doesn't mean loss of culture. And also, many people, we have archaeologists who have recognized many paintings and with remains of seals and other pots, etc., from Indus Valley civilization. So, it is a kind of practice that is practicing from older times onwards. We have not only books that Chinmayavidya told, we have other materialistic evidences for practicing of yoga. So yoga is a kind of practice that should be practiced for that should be given to other generations also. So globalization will help in providing the future generation for the information how yoga is important for spiritual, mental, health, all the benefits. So in my opinion, yoga is the one that helps in connecting with oneself, and it is a topic that creates unity within us. The people practicing yoga can create unity among themselves. So I don't think it's a controversial topic because what he made Lakshmi.
Okay, that was a fair argument. Your argument was that globalization led to more people learning about our culture, right? But then more people learning something does not directly correlate with the preservation of culture. Yes, you can teach something to somebody else. You can spread it as well. That doesn't mean you necessarily inherit the roots of it as well. You can still learn something but not know the roots of it. It's exactly how people convert to religions, but they haven't studied from the start. It doesn't matter. You can inherit something, but you can't inherit the roots of it. So if you're teaching something, yes, it's good to be taught. But if you don't know the root of it, then it's meaningless. Similarly, that's what's being done to yoga. Yes, more people are learning yoga, and that's good. But if you don't understand the root of it, and you're doing it for the purposes that differs from something that was actually made for, then I don't see the point of learning it in the first place. Yes, it can have benefits on people. I'm not disagreeing with that. But the benefits that is being used for now differs from what is being used for back then. So I don't understand how you can make that point. Moreover, Anjala has said that statistics showed for physical results, and meanwhile Devika has said that it's shown unison in body. Unison in body is the original term. But your study shows that it's affected physically and mentally, and not any soul in a spiritual belief. So I think you guys contradict your points. So if you guys could clear that up, that'd be good. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Lakshmi, and I actually disagree with what Anjana said because, as she said in yoga, as yoga is practiced in America and it has become simplified. In order to simplify it, the traditional practices are being replaced by standardized and westernized versions. It actually sacrifices the traditional discipline, and the traditional knowledge is also being lost. See, when you do something new, you don't give the when people do the modern yoga, it's actually different from what was used in the past, the traditional yoga, and the entire positive impacts of yoga wouldn't be got when they only follow the modern versions. And the cultural significance is also disrespected. The practices are being adopted without the respect for their original meaning. Because when we simplify yoga, we are not giving much importance to the meaning or reason as to why we are performing those asanas. So, in my opinion, it should not actually be westernized. If we are practicing yoga, we should actually do it the traditional way. Otherwise, it will actually lead to a loss of culture for India as a whole.
I strongly disagree with Tejas and Rashmi. As Tejas said, the globalization of the yoga is actually wrong. The yoga has actually many aspects, like cultural exchange. It had helping understanding between regions and promoting peace and unity. Actually, the yoga was introduced in India. Also, first times around it was not popular. After that, after some time, at June 21st, yoga became an international yoga day. Also, it is more accessible. So, more accessible to people in different backgrounds and abilities. And when Lakshmi said the cultural distress should be changed, right? That's what I said, the cultural exchange. Then the knowledge of body and body for knowledge. You said, Senior said, scientific validation. Modern scientific research has validated many health benefits of yoga, enhancing credibility and acceptance. Also, Lakshmi said that it will become westernized when it's practiced in westernized. No, it isn't. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. First of all, I have to thank everyone has said good things on each part. You guys have had your points. You guys have had your points as well. But I think we're missing the point here. The topic is whether we have lost its cultures, its original culture. And we're talking about globalization of this one. So let me start by recognising some of the points. You said that it's good that it's not something linked to Hindu culture now. But I think when we talk about the originality of this culture, it's important that we link it to its religion. And in ancient times, it was linked to Hinduism. It was a practice of Hinduism. So I think when we say that it's good that it's not preserved by Hinduism now, it's meaning that we've lost its culture. Moreover, what does yoga actually mean? So when yoga was first founded, it meant unison between the mind and the body. And now that you said that scientific studies have shown that physical results, mental well-being. But that's not the point. The point is the unison between the spiritual body and the physical matter of the body. And that is not what we practice now. Moreover, there were different styles of yoga in different parts of the regions. And now that for the benefit of our society, we have now compiled that into one. We accommodate all the different styles and just put it into one for our own benefit. That's not how it's supposed to be. Let me put a simple analogy for you guys. You can go to a restaurant outside India. You can order Indian food. You can have the label Indian food. But if it's not made with authentic ingredients and correct ingredients, then it's not Indian food. The label means nothing. So it's not the label that matters. It's the process of how you do it and why you do it. And that's why I think we've lost this culture. Because over the years, we've now made something that's originally made for spiritual benefits and mental benefits. Now that we turn it into something westernized. And by doing so, we've actually lost the ancient practices. Moreover, you said that Guru Lakshana was made as a form of payment. But Guru Lakshana is actually a form of offering by the students itself. So it's not the same as you go to a college or you go to a course where you have to necessarily pay for it. It's different. Because Guru Lakshana is an offering from the students to the Guru itself. I mean, these people are being forced to pay to get taught something that's originally made to be taught by yourself. So that's wrong as well. These are the main points I want to cover over. And then Dr. said, Devil said, he disagreed with what are the points he said. But then their points have value as well. Because one has talked about how westernization has ruined it, and it has. Because now it's made for physical benefits. Meanwhile, it was actually made for your unison in body and mind. So we can't say something has lost its culture if the very purpose for what it is made is not gone. So we can't link something that was used for spiritual benefits, and now you're saying statistics have shown physical benefits. But that wasn't the main point. Yes, physical benefits matters, but it's not all that yoga is. Yoga is a unison between the body, the mind, and the physical matter of the person. And now that the Western society and even other people have learned it, it's now changed. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you very much. My name is Roshan.
Yoga is not about the loss of cultural significance. It's actually about the practices are being disrespected when it is westernized. Then the globalization of yoga should be done in the way it is and not to be westernized. As yoga is considered to be an exercise nowadays. And as I mentioned before, yoga is actually a body of knowledge and not the knowledge of body. Yeah.
And Rakshan is telling that yoga is connecting oneself with mind and spirit. So yoga, what Lakshmi told is right, many people are doing like that now, some teachers are doing like that. But we cannot take all the teachers under that umbrella. Right? So yoga can be done by sitting suhasana, breathing in, breathe out. So we can connect oneself with doing one right? And I don't agree with that. Many institutions are there right now, and what another point that she told is, I told that it has a core principle and it is adapting in different cultural diversity. That is, yoga found in Hinduism is different from Buddhism, and it is different from Jainism. But the core principle is meditation and connecting with ourselves. Right? The pictures will be different, of course. The people doing these things, the people practicing this is also different. Right? So, the core principle of connecting one with ourselves is the common name is yoga. And now, what's taught is the general thing, the Hinduic method, I think so. So, in different colleges, in different institutes, they are taking different methods of yoga.
I agree with your point, but then right now said that it is we actually globalize yoga by because it can be used in diverse cultures. But while we are like, changing it into diverse cultures, the methods are actually being lost. If we were to give an example, if we have a competition of yoga, what we will do is we'll search upon Google. But right now, if you give the name of one asana, a random number of pictures show different asanas will show up. And even if it's similar, you wouldn't get the exact correct one. Even if there is one picture, you wouldn't be able to identify which is the correct one. So with globalization, all these problems also come. And you said that right now, in order to teach yoga, it's not being a money-making industry right now. But with globalization of yoga, yoga has actually become trending around everyone. So in order for them to gain the knowledge, instructors are actually asking for very high fees. Right now, yoga has been turned into a money-making process. And the rapid increase for yoga actually led to an increase in underqualified instructors also. So these instructors would actually ask for fees for something that they are not actually qualified in, and they would teach it to others, the wrong methods, and the students would learn from them thinking that was the correct method. So isn't it actually being lost, the method of traditional practices?
How is it being lost according to, you said no, right now Jainism and Buddhism, that type of yoga is being lost. So how is it being?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm sorry I'm repeating it again, the ship of species, same thing, I'll come back to that. So when we are losing the culture because of it. We are taking only some part of it, the remaining are being lost. That is why I'm saying it's not being preserved properly. I'm not saying it's not being preserved. It is being preserved, but only a part of it being preserved. Then where is the remaining part? That's what I'm saying, it's losing its culture.
How should we preserve?
Bring back all the other parts of it. That's what I'm saying. But what is globalization? They have actually made lost. They have lost the original Indian roots culture. What I'm saying is, it has lost the culture. So one solution for that, if you ask me, they can try bringing all that, introducing that to the globalized or westernized people. That's what I'm saying.
In my opinion also, I agree with Chetas that bringing out the roots of Jainism and Buddhism and bringing it to the globe, practicing all the type of yoga and knowing more about yoga and spreading the yoga, that can increase the number of people doing yoga, and it can also preserve the culture. Thank you.
You said that my point is wrong and that globalization is a positive fact, which I'm not denying. Yes, globalization is a positive fact. But you're linking globalization with preservation of culture, which is not. You can practice something, but you can't preserve the culture if you just practice it. You have to understand where it comes from. You have to learn about it. You have to learn what's origin, what it's made for, and adapt to that. Instead, now yoga, they're being taught just for physical fitness. Which if it helps them, then it's good. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing that it's not good. But I'm saying that you can practice something and you can still not preserve its culture. Culture being spread is not culture being preserved. Because if the originality of the culture is being lost and a new culture is being practiced among different people, that is not the same thing. The culture is dynamic, it's changing. It's not the original culture that's being spread around, it's new culture. its new physical and mental benefits that's being spread around. It's not the traditional way of learning yourself, learning your own body, meditation. Yes, physical benefits is good for the people. Its globalization is not bad, but you can't argue that it preserves culture, that the originality of the culture is lost for a new culture that's being born. Thank you.
So what I have to say to Rakshan is that everything will change, as he said, but culture will not change because the practice, the method of practicing will be changing, right? But the culture will not change. No, that's what I say. And it is a process of knowing oneself, as I said. You also agree with that, right? Knowing oneself. So, as we are practicing yoga in any method, we can know ourselves, right? And you have used the word westernization. What do you mean by that? Westernization means globalization itself is a spread of yoga. And why are you saying westernization? The culture is not at all lost, it's preserved only. The culture, the method is preserved only by practicing what our ancestors have taught us.
So you said it's preserving. How exactly are you preserving it? See, you are again repeating to the same point. So what I'm saying is, it's being lost because you said that it is being more modernized and it is being more simplified so that more people can access.
I didn't use the word simply.
Okay, then what exactly?
It has spread. That doesn't mean simplification.
Okay, so you said it has spread, and it's spread into a wide, and as Lakshmi said, it has, when you search in Google, it's showing different answers, and different posts, different asanas. You're saying, yeah, I agree with you. For Hinduism, they have separate thing, Buddhism has separate thing, Jainism, they have separate thing. But what globalization does is, it just makes everything into one single thing. So basically, when you make it as one single thing, all the other part of it, let's say they are following the Hinduism part, then the Buddhism and Jainism part is not present. That part is being lost. So that's what I'm saying, it's being lost.